Michael Nagy here with Jiggy Jag TV and DiscoveringBands.com. And for everyone watching, if you could share this video on my channel and help support the awesome bands I feature. And today I'm here with First Frontier. How you doing today?
Really good, thank you. How are you?
Well.
Good. It's good to have you. Now, you want to start off and tell us a little about the band, some history about the band?
Yeah. Well, First Frontier, we've been going since 2019, so pretty new.
Yeah, pretty new. We've known each other for a few years, but we started off our musical journey probably properly in around summer last year.
Yeah.
Where we kind of wrote our first songs and started performing together as a duo.
And we were just getting going.
I know.
Just getting some momentum. And then biology took over and locked everything down, and it's been strange since then, really. Yeah.
Well, your debut single, Take Cover, is really amazing. So that's...
Oh, thank you, man.
Thanks.
Appreciate that.
That one will get in your head for sure.
You want to tell us a little about that one?
Yeah, Take Cover. Actually, we wrote it. It was written about Brexit, which was the previous crisis that no one's talking about anymore, really. But effectively, it was kind of... it was a time where there was so much bad news. And so much negativity, so much division, that I wanted to write something that kind of emphasized how important it is to just take a step back from that, and stop thinking about it, stop kind of tuning into this constant live feed of bad news and negativity, and kind of start to focus again on the things that are, first of all, that you can control, and second of all, the things that actually bring you happiness and joy. And so it's that idea of taking cover from this kind of barrage of bad stuff.
Yeah, and I would say also it's a celebration. Like the song itself it's really upbeat. It's got quite a dancey beat to it, really, for an indie track, and it's something you can dance to. So it's the musicality of it as well. Dance your troubles away kind of thing. I think it's I
think that's what we do. We kind of blend. You've got like this upbeat, happy-go-lucky kind of approach, especially with the drumming, and I'm like this kind of like much more negative, depressive kind of person. So when we kind of put it together, there's the mix of like upbeat, but also with a real undercurrent of like doom and foreboding.
Now, I have to say, that video is very creative and unique. How did that idea come to you?
Thank you.
That's all you.
That's so, like, I mean, I love movies, and I kind of started off as a filmmaker. So, but I love Ray Harryhausen, who did the kind of in the 60s and the 50s was making a lot of cool movies like 1 Million Years BC, and in his protege, he was a protege of Willie O'Brien, who did King Kong, the 1933 King Kong. And so I just love this really kind of scene by scene kind of puppet animation film, and I figured I'd use it as a metaphor. I had a guy make me a pterodactyl. One of my favorite things is like, I've got a pterodactyl guy. So if anyone needs a pterodactyl guy out there, come to me. I know a guy. And he kind of made this incredible moving pterodactyl that I then animated, and kind of, it was a bit of a metaphor for, like I was saying, kind of the negativity, whatever it is, almost kind of harkening back to the Victorian era of like Frankenstein, novels that kind of looked at evil creatures, Dracula, all that kind of thing, which were often, even in those times, like a metaphor for, I don't know, whatever the British Empire was being threatened by at the time, uprisings and things like that.
So for those who haven't watched it, it's a pretty fun movie about us getting attacked by a pterodactyl. It's on our YouTube. You can find it and laugh at us if you'd like.
Yeah. We had fun with it, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah, I saw the video and instantly liked it.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
Now, you got a new single out too, right? Landslide? You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so Landslide came out about 2 weeks ago. And it's, again, so Paul, you wrote the lyrics to this one. So in terms of what it's really about this point in a relationship that you don't quite define and isn't really talked about, where you're like, oh, okay, this is happening then, and
this is serious. Like it's that moment where you're suddenly like, oh, I can't back out of this very easily now.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's kind of about that kind of idea of like where love kind of almost wins by a landslide, but also sweeps you off your leaves you like feeling like you're kind of
A bit out of control.
discombobulated
Yeah.
and yeah.
Awesome. Now, what are you guys currently working on?
We've got we're finishing off an EP, which will be our first EP.
So we're hoping to get into the studio this side of this year.
Yeah.
To finish off, we've got a couple more tracks we want to record and release it as a package, an EP, and it's going to be called Just Matter, which is a line from Take Cover.
Yeah. Which and the idea is it's to bring in a few of, because we've got a fairly broad array of influences, and so you know the next single, for example, is called Insist, and that's got almost like a folky. It's still kind of got our kind of garage rock alternative vibe to it, but it's got a folky aspect to it as well. You know, especially kind of that American style kind of folk coming out of Nashville in the last decade or so, like really inspirational. So we wanted to kind of put a little bit of that in there subtly without really losing the key kind of sound that we already have from the first two singles.
Yeah, and we're hoping that the EP kind of gives, because we're a new band, so we're hoping that it gives people a flavour of the breadth of our influences, and it will go from like quite heavy, angry rock to like a much lighter, almost kind of a rock ballad almost, without sounding cheesy. And then the two singles that we've released already, which are kind of down the middle, indie rock.
Yeah, it's weird. We haven't really released the more energetic song yet, called Edging, because it would be just such a better song to be playing live, and so we want it almost at a time when we can be back on a stage. As much as the internet has been an incredible thing for musicians in the lockdown and you know in the last year, nothing can beat the sweat and the stench of a live gig, and just the energy that you know the people that are there bring to it. You know, it's we like kind of want to make the music that is almost collaborative with the audience. You know, like if people aren't moshing and like slamming their bodies into one another in front of us, like there's something not quite 100% about the music that we're making, you know. And I think that's one of the, probably, I don't know how it is for you, but like that's one of the things that we really miss at the moment, is that kind of live connection.
I miss live music so much.
Yeah, man, it's awful, isn't it? How is it? So you say you're in New Jersey?
Yeah.
Whereabouts in New Jersey are you?
Central New Jersey. Yeah, it's pretty
like
much
Asbury Park area or something.
Yes, very close to Asbury.
Asbury Park is really cool, actually. Asbury Park's where was it? Bruce Springsteen kind of cut his teeth. I haven't, unfortunately, but I know there's a venue that I'd really love to play called the Stone Pony or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a dream. So it's one of the iconic East Coast venues almost. Like loads of people have been through there.
Okay.
So. Oh man.
One day.
You guys could come and play the area. That'd be really awesome.
It would be awesome, right? Maybe in 2021 or
2023.
2023.
Whenever this ends.
Yeah.
How have you guys been handling the lockdown then?
Just been staying in. We've not really been going out very much, really. We've kind of been to a few like rehearsal spaces because we're in a flat in London, so we don't have, you know, it's not really fair on anyone to be having like microphones and tons of amps. So we've occasionally kind of gone out to just let it all out. But generally, it's been good because we've been focusing more on the music writing side of things and the business side of things. And I think especially as a new band, we could have got carried away, gigging not too much, but having that kind of overshadow actually the musicianship and then also the kind of the marketing side of it as well, effectively. Yeah,
like I guess we would have organically built the band up over time, but because we've only been able to focus really on the infrastructure side of it and getting a website and social media and everything, you know, like I guess it's nice to have that taking care of itself almost now, and then we can just and also spending time on like making videos and things like that. But yeah, But obviously that's because there's a huge thing, like the live music aspect is missing right now. But it's also nice because it's given us a chance to kind of read and like take in more stuff, like, you know, just sit down and listen to other people's music.
Yeah.
I think Joss Whedon calls it filling the tanks or refilling the tanks, you know, and just like basically just listening and taking loads of stuff in and letting it kind of subtly influence your creative
And there's so much
process.
new music out. Like, it hasn't stopped anyone, and it's great to be able to listen to all these new bands and artists that are coming out. So yeah.
Yeah, it's allowed us to kind of like, I guess, spend a bit more time trying to focus on what other people are doing rather than just like trying to push ourselves out there and be like, listen to a thing we did, which, you know, the tendency, you almost feel like you should be constantly promoting yourself, but it's actually nice to kind of actually just step back and see what other people are doing. And I don't think we'd have done that if there wasn't a lockdown.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been so much good music that's starting to come out now.
Yeah, and it's nice that it's kind of, you know, obviously the zeitgeist has produced quite a lot of direct replies to the situation that we have right now, the COVID situation. But I like it when people have had that time to let it kind of gestate a little bit, and it starts to come out in really unusual ways and kind of really creative ways, stuff that's not as much on the nose, you know. I'm starting to hear that more now, is the things that people who've had COVID in their lives for like half a year or longer and have like allowed it to kind of just influence the music they're making in a really subtle way. They're not directly talking about it, but you feel it in there, in the tone of the music, and that's really interesting. I think it's probably with us as well as having some kind of impact, even if we're not aware of it or we're not voicing it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I know you got this EP coming out. Do you have plans for a full-length album after that?
Yeah.
Someday.
Yeah, like I think we start off with the EP, and then the dream would be, I mean, it's a strange time as well, because obviously the way that the dynamics of music online are changing, and you almost like you feel a little pressure, even though we're new and we're not established and there's no kind of load of fans expecting a new release imminently. Like, we still feel that pressure to be kind of visible by releasing a new single or something like that. So like we'll almost like maybe do a second EP first and then do an LP after that, maybe. But
yeah, we haven't got any kind of concrete plans past the first EP, but we will, and then we'll be in touch and let you know.
Like we were saying recently, like we'll see what we write, and if like a lot of stuff seem to belong together, we might make an LP out of it. You know, if it makes sense to put all of those songs into one place. You know, like if there's 4 songs that just belong on their own together, like maybe it makes more sense to put out an EP. But I think the idea of like an LP having songs that all belong there.
Yeah, you want it to be like a work in itself, like listen to it start to finish, and it kind of almost like a piece of art. I'm not sure we're there yet. But we'll be just writing lots and lots of songs, and down the line, love to release an album. Oh, God.
I look forward to it. Like I like your guys' music.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, if people want to look you up online, find your music on social media, how do they do that?
We're First Frontier Music on most of the socials. What are we on YouTube? Because you got to check out this
First
video.
Frontier Music.
First Frontier Music.
And actually, you know what? If you go to our website, which is also firstfrontiermusic.com, we've got a link page there which will kind of link out to all the social medias, and obviously Spotify followers are a kind of much welcomed thing at this early stage as well, any stage. But
come join us on Spotify. That's probably the platform that I know it's not necessarily the most lucrative for bands. There's certainly other platforms, but Spotify is where we've built building a bit of a community on there. So come join us.
Awesome. And how did you guys come up with the name First Frontier?
Oh, God. Well, it was a long time. We had a few band names beforehand. We'd come up with them, and then they'd be taken. So we wanted something unique. So it took a long time. And I think in the end, you were the one that proposed this name.
I was like, let's go back to basics, because a lot of what we want to write about is how in the general sphere of things worldwide, there seems to be a lot more division than certainly we've ever experienced in our lifetimes. It feels like we're getting the basics wrong. You know, like we're divided rather than finding solutions together. You know, we're focusing on the things that we have, differences that we have, rather than the things we have in common. And so First Frontier was like that sense of coming back to literally the most immediate things and focusing on that and trying to fix that first, rather than worrying about going to Mars or you know, like doing like, which is cool, but also not the most pressing thing at the moment, you know.
Okay.
It's that kind of
Back to the dinosaurs.
no, not back back to the prehistoric times with the pterodactyls and stuff. You know, like the First Frontier, the thing that's right on the most immediate thing on your doorstep, like trying to fix that first and then taking it from there, rather than worrying about the final frontier.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it was good having you, and everyone look them up.
Yes, please.
Thanks.